Welcome back to BRMC's Healthy Connection with our guest Mike Beam. And we were talking about how patients' stay has been diminished over the years because of better technologies.
Yes.
and all of this. And I know that one time when we were talking, you'd mentioned that in the future, the length of stay was going to probably be even shorter in all
Yes.
probability.
Yes.
So,
Well, yeah, the current length of stay is about 3.5 days for a specific group of patients I'm talking about, which is a total joint population without complications. There's
so total
parameters
knee,
around
total
knee, total hip.
yeah.
It's about 3.5 days, and they're saying within the next 4 to 5 years that's going to be somewhere around 2.6, 2.7, 2.75. It's going down quite a bit. It's really going down. What the thing I want to stress to most people is this is wholly appropriate. I mean, it's entirely appropriate. And I spoke, as I mentioned earlier, I spoke to a group yesterday, and the point I want to make is, you know, the longer you stay in a hospital, the longer you stay on your back anywhere, the longer you lay in a bed, the more susceptible you are. And I'm not a nurse, but the more susceptible you are to complications. You really open yourself. It's not healthy.
Right.
Just to lay in a bed, and you know they get you up, and you know somebody comes in for a total. Well, I was up on the floor today, and had a lady walking. She had a total joint replacement Tuesday, and she's going home either this evening or first thing in the morning. She's walking up and down the halls.
That is, to me, just amazing. Just amazing.
It's really neat. It really is. And you know, we had talked about, you know, that patient has a lot of ownership in her care. You know, she gets to kind of pull the chain and tell the bus when to stop sometimes, but certainly a lot's asked of the patients, and they have to put in the work. But it's a neat system, and it works very well. More to the point, we're talking about a service line. When the patient leaves the clinic, we have scheduled their pre-op testing, and a lot of the pieces we put together in order to make it very convenient for them to, let's say somebody lives in Theodosia, up in Missouri, they come into the hospital, they have their pre-op testing done, they get everything they need to do done, and join the pre-op education class, which takes 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
And then they can leave, and they really don't come back till the day of surgery.
Surgery, but it's all done. So there's none of the. In the past, it used to be no education for the patient, or very little.
Right.
And then now, of course, then we had to go here and there and everywhere for testing and
come back 2 or 3 times in the same week sometimes. And it's just, you know, it's
just a nice streamlined process.
And that is what a service line does. A service line kind of looks at all the individual components, blows them up, and kind of like a puzzle, just puts them back together in an order that makes sense. For the patient, number one, for the physician, and for our staff, and you know, just to make it all make sense.
Yep, and that's what we need to do in
absolutely
so many areas. I know.
Yeah. You know, it's healthcare is not like anything else really, and I've been in a couple industries myself, and you know, it's just there's so many moving parts. I mean, even within a
and you guys are always trying to keep them moving. So
that's true.
Sorry, the pun meister strikes here. Yeah,
but you know, a lot. I mean, within surgery, you know, for instance, there are so many moving parts just within the one department.
Yes,
and the ways they interact and with other departments, and it's really, when it works well, it's really something to see. And I'm really proud. We work with quite a few people. I work with a few directors at the hospital, and quite a bit of staff that work with those directors. And it's just neat to see kind of a symphony of motion, or whatever that word would be. But it's neat to see, you know, and I think it matters too, because it is so important. We're not making carburetors or you know, brake lights.
As you said, we're not making widgets. Okay.
No. So it's a lot of fun, and it is rewarding to see people come in. Sometimes, you know, we deal with a lot of fractures and things like that, and it's hurtful sometimes to see the people come in the state that they come in, but then you get to see them leave
when they leave,
and it's
and
really
the quality of life that they're regaining by having these procedures done is amazing.
To that point too, you know, so I mean, our life expectancy is being extended by leaps and bounds. And people are, years ago, 30 years ago, people turned 60, 65, they retired, maybe did a little gardening, maybe traveled a little bit, but people were really very sedentary. That's not true anymore.
No.
I mean, well, case in point, the gentleman, and I know he doesn't mind me mentioning his name, but John Requi.
Yeah.
Was our oldest participant, or most experienced participant last year in the Jingle Bell Run.
Yeah.
And he's getting up there.
Yeah.
But I tell you, he's an inspiration to us all. And as a matter of fact, the Hackler 5K they had out here at the school a couple weeks ago, a small girl, I think she's 8 or 9, ran the whole distance, 3.1 miles. And then ran a couple weeks later in the Lindahan 5K we had for the hospital. She bested her time by 2 minutes, and you couldn't have given her a bicycle. You could have given her a pony that would have compared. And we talked about that in the sports med meeting the next week, and how, I mean, it was nice to see a 9-year-old child excited about competition, excited about health, excited about getting out and doing, and it was neat to see.
And it's so crucial. I mean, it's just so crucial for everyone. I was thinking when you mentioned that, and I know she won't mind my mentioning her either, is Doris Reeves. Chose to spend her 86th birthday on a bus going to Little Rock so she could do the Race for the Cure Walk.
Yeah.
And she does it every year, and she certainly puts others about half her age to shame.
Well, that's
a true
awesome.
Inspiration to us all.
For all of us, absolutely. And that's one other thing we say too, within the service line, is we want people to find their active. And people ask me sometimes, what do you mean by find your active? And what I mean very simply is, some 32-year-old's active may be, going out and walking around the block a couple times a week, maybe going to church, get their hair cut, whatever. Somebody that's 80, their active may be swimming 5 miles in the summer. Their active may be running a half marathon. It has nothing to do with age.
No.
It just has to do with what you want to do. If you want to hike, I mean, and that's what's so nice about this area. You want to swim, you want to kayak, you want to boat, you want to fish, you want to hike. I mean, it's all right here. And my family was talking a couple weeks ago. We were talking about maybe renting a cabin down on the river 10 miles from here. And my son asked me, well, why? It's right here. It's like, well, people drive 700 miles to come here.
Yep.
And we always leave to go somewhere else when really what we go do is right here
right
anyway.
In your own backyard. Maybe 10 miles away, but right in your own backyard. Yeah, we've got it all right here.
We do.
Yeah.
We really do. There are a lot of communities around our same size, basically made up the same way we are, and they're nice places. But when you really look, and sometimes you don't have to dig very far. We're so blessed. I mean, our community's so giving, and you work with charities. I work with charities, and know a couple people around town, and it's just amazing. All the things that go on, people in this community are so benevolent and give so much to others, and a lot of times they don't even know who they're giving to or what for. It's just nice to see.
I know we had recently with our Lend a Hand program, and you ran the race that they had for the Lend a Hand, and just the entire October 25th event, and of course it went on before and after and that type of thing, but I mean the monies raised go right back into the 4 community houses, who offer almost everything they have, all their programs, classes, etc., for free. So it's always going, it's always coming back to the community, but the community understands that, supports it, and is so generous, and they do this in so many areas. Our food banks are always kept full. Scholarships for kids. I mean, it is truly an amazing place to live.
Yeah, it is. We go to the First Friday breakfast sometimes, and it's nice to see this is an opportunity for everybody who owns a business and belongs to the chamber to talk about themselves. It seems like half the people that stand up to talk about a cause or a benefit,
that
or they don't even talk about their own business. No. They talk about how to help somebody else. And that's the honest
and that's
God's
what
truth.
It's all.
It's very neat to see.
Yeah, and we just want it. That's paying it forward, and we just keep doing that. And we've got a lot of exciting things that we're going to share with everyone next time we meet, and we put out a little tickler out there going, you don't want to miss our next shows. We've got some wonderful announcements that are coming out next week at the hospital with, I'll just put it this way, say some new equipment that's coming our way.
Big news.
Big news.
Big news.
So, Mike, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
And updating everybody about Active Lifestyle Institute and website.
Baxterregional.org, and our icon, our little logo's up there. They can
little
click
runner.
on it. Little runner
Guy.
Runner guy, and they can click on the runner guy, and it takes them.
I don't know what else to call him. The little runner guy.
Takes them to our page, and they can scroll down to the bottom, sign up online. It's easy peasy.
Okay.
It's very easy.
Wonderful.
So thanks for having me.
All
I really
right,
appreciate it.
I'm so glad you came to join us today, and we will be back next week with more VRMC Healthy Connections. See you then. Thanks for joining us.